It's time for Elmhurst College football. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Langhorse Field in Elmhurst, Illinois. I'm Tim Calderwood. Luke Tanaka alongside, and Luke, it is homecoming. And quite a festive atmosphere. I was walking around a bit before the contest, and so nice to see so many people congregated. Homecoming always brings people together who haven't necessarily seen each other in years, and creates quite a nice little atmosphere here on campus each and every fall.
That's right. The tailgating scene out of Alexander is always very electric, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. I got to go out there and talk a little bit with some of the guys that I know that are tailgating out there, and then obviously the alumni tent we always have here. So it's just a chance for everybody to come back, tailgate, hang out with some of their old buddies from college, or even, meet some of the guys who are in college now and some of the people that have filled some of their roles here on campus.
Elmhurst won the toss, and the Blue Jays have elected to receive to start the contest today. And so Elmhurst will have a chance to put offense on the field to start. Noah Moore kicking off for North Park.
Noah Moore kicking it away for the Vikings.
And Moore gets us underway with a short kick, bouncing in front of the 20-yard line and swallowed up by Tyler Smith. Smith straight ahead, crosses the 30, gains about 10 yards on the return, and here comes the Elmhurst offense. C.J. Barron's left tackle, Sam Rathbun left guard, Drake Hoffman in the middle, Danny McHale the right guard, and Logan Mosher the right tackle. Joe Camilleri the quarterback. Running back is Josh Williams with Connor Brewer joining him in the backfield. The receivers, Adam Bowers and Kayla Miller. And Garrett Claxton is the tight end. 1st and 10 for Elmhurst, setting up at the 31-yard line as we're underway on this homecoming Saturday.
When you think about this Elmhurst offense, always got to talk about Josh Williams. So we'll see if Elmhurst can get that running game going early in this game.
It is Williams on the fake initially. Camilleri keeps himself, and the quarterback shuffles forward for 9 yards, tripped up at the 40-yard line.
9-yard gain.
Camilleri running is a wrinkle in this offense that has come with Josh Williams being so effective on the ground game. Camilleri can easily pull it out of the belly as 2 or 3 defenders try to stop Josh Williams heading straight up the middle. Camilleri takes it, gains a good 9 yards.
And let's be honest, the defensive game plan for any team in the CCIW, stop Josh Williams.
It's not always easy to do.
So anytime you have the option of Camilleri in there as well from your quarterback slot. This is Josh Williams, 41 carries last week, his first today, and he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe forward progress back to the line, but nothing there, sets up 3rd and short.
Williams was on everybody's map, certainly to begin the season, but once he had that 306-yard school record performance against Olivet, that's what really put him on the map and made sure that when defenses come to play Elmhurst or Elmhurst going on the road, they just don't want Josh Williams to be the one that beats him. They want Joe Camilleri's arm to be the one that beats them rather than Josh Williams on the ground or even Camilleri on the ground. Camilleri's got 6 touchdowns on the year rushing.
No big deal, 249 yards for Williams last week. It's Miller in motion. And Williams straight ahead, huge hole. Hop, skip, and jump for a first down across the 45-yard line.
And that trip by Dull was so. If Williams get past that initial trip by Dull, I think he cuts to the left, and I think he's off to the races at that point, at least into the secondary.
Well, North Park is a team that likes to chuck it up and down the field. They have one of the most prolific offenses in terms of passing attack in the CCIW, and so for Elmhurst, offensive scheme pretty simple today as well. Keep North Park off the field. You do that by moving the football on the ground. 2 minutes into the first quarter. It's 1st and 10 for Elmhurst from the 47. First pass attempt. Camilleri pressured, throws down the middle, wide open, reeling it in is Kaylon Miller inside the 15-yard line for a first down.
Miller with 14 receptions on the year, 2 touchdowns last week against Carthage. As Camilleri throws this off his back foot. It's hanging in the air for a long time, but nobody in the North Park secondary was back and able to make a play on the ball. Kalen Miller, long pass attempt for the Blue Jays, puts him in the red zone.
First downs on consecutive plays, a gain of 37 on the pickup. And another first down for Elmhurst. Camilleri calls for Claxton to move in motion. It is Williams, churning right, twisting away. He lost the ball, but was he down? The officials will indeed rule down on the field before it came free. And you'll get a good look at it here, coming right at you. Knee down, ball out.
The ball forced it out when he flipped over his body, his forearm hit the ground. Good calls by the official there.
5 yards, 2nd and 5. Elmhurst knocking on the doorstep. The Blue Jays very good in the red zone this year.
In the red zone, you always got to look for 23 Garrett Claxton, the tight end. Camilleri loves to hit quick hitting routes to Claxton.
Claxton in motion to the near side. It is Williams. Inside give. And wrestling his way towards the 8-yard line. Elmhurst second in the CCIW in red zone offense. 81.8%, having scored on 18 of 22 tries. Only North Central better in the conference. North Central 20 of 22. I'll mark it at the 7. And it is 3rd and 1.
I think if you're the Blue Jays, this is a great time for you to assert your offensive line and assert the running game. Plow it straight up the middle with Josh Williams on 3rd and 1. Try to pick up this first down.
It is Williams running left, still on his feet and into the end zone for the touchdown. 6th rushing touchdown of the season for Josh Williams. And Elmhurst requires 4 minutes and 14 seconds to open the scoring on homecoming.
Just a typical Elmhurst College Blue Jays drive, pounding the rock straight up the middle with Josh Williams, and then the big hitting pass play off of play action. Very effective offensive drive for Elmhurst, and a great way to start this homecoming Saturday for the Blue Jays.
Brett Bayer attempting the extra point. Some miscommunication for Elmhurst. And the official talking with the Elmhurst sideline. Out of the hold of Tom Finucane. Bayer's attempt down the middle. 7-0 Elmhurst. Solid start for the Blue Jays today. Again, is the touchdown run.
Nice job by Williams, really keeping his legs moving. They had a couple of hands by his ankles, but just continuing to overpower the North Park defense and just straight in the end zone. Nice cut to the left to be able to walk in.
This Elmhurst offense has quickly become one of the top offenses in the CCIW. A little surprising when you look back at the non-conference slate and see some bumps in the road, losing at Loris 39-17. A loss against Chicago now suddenly looking a little more effective because Chicago unblemished right now. But still only 17 points on the board in that one. But a big 49 hung up on Carthage last week, and Carthage had been the surprise of the CCIW prior to that loss. Opening conference play with a win over Illinois Wesleyan 20-10. Wheaton and North Central unbeaten at 2-0 in conference play. Guess who else is 2-0? Elmhurst wins over Augustana and Carthage. Entering this homecoming matchup against North Park. Bayer ready to go. And he angles it towards the near side. Markel Hawkins picks it up, and Hawkins has a huge hole up the middle across the 30 and dropped at the 35-yard line. Tyler Schwartz, the sophomore safety, on the stop. And our first look at the North Park offense.
6'4", 220-pound sophomore quarterback, J.D. Conway. Be interesting to see him in this offense. When I was watching this offense earlier this morning on film, it seemed like they really need to get the running game going to be able to get third and manageable, which is very similar to what the Blue Jays do. But last week against Wheaton, lots of third and longs, and that makes it really tough on this quarterback, Conway.
1,369 yards through the air, 13 touchdowns as well. Conway flushed from the pocket on the first play. He keeps and picks up some yardage to the 41. Pressure coming quick and a solid decision. Conway just tucking and running.
Another thing is 14 sacks on the year that North Park has given up, so it's going to be really critical for them to keep Conway upright in this game.
Elmhurst has won 13 in a row over North Park. The last win for the Vikings came in 2000. It's a run on 2nd and 5, and coming up just shy of the first down. They're running back Drew Walkington.
Straight up the middle, 2.2 yards per carry on the season for North Park, and that's something that's really put them in third and longs in the past, but the run by Conway gives them a 3rd and short here.
Clock running, 9:40 to play first quarter. It's Walkington again, sidestepping a tackle. He has some open field, and he's tripped up on the Elmhurst side of the field. A touchdown-saving tackle potentially by Billy Viero.
Great shoestring tackle by Viero as we check it out on the replay. Sidestepping, Viero gets just enough of the right foot of Walkington and limiting him. Definitely would have been off to the races had Viero not made that play.
3 plays for North Park, all of those on the ground to start action today. Quarterback for the Vikings, T.D. Conway. He will look left and hook up with Terrence Wright, who is swallowed up instantly at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Just a great individual effort by Jake Paulicki. He's trying to set up the screen on the near side. He gets around his block and then just swallows up the receiver Wright.
Mike Conway, the head coach at North Park, his 2nd season with the Vikings. T.D. Conway is his son. Out of the Pittsburgh area. Conway with time, over the middle, incomplete. Boy, he had Terrence Wright in his fingertips. That's a good job by the North Park offensive line, as Conway had been pressured on his previous pass attempt. He had plenty of time here and had a man as well.
Pocket. Great pocket. Just very well done by the North Park offensive line. He just barely missed right off his fingertips. But that's a positive sign for the North Park offense to be protecting Conway early in this game.
3rd and 10. Elmhurst shows blitz. Here it comes. Picked up. Conway throws, and he overshoots his receiver. Again, it was an open target. Daniel Anderson, the senior tight end, had some space, but Conway led him too far.
Something interesting to watch in this game is the height of the North Park receivers against the Elmhurst secondary, because a lot of the Elmhurst secondary players will certainly be at a height disadvantage in this game against the North Park receivers. That was one of those times, but Conway just couldn't quite put the ball on target.
John Gies-King punting for the Vikings on 4th down. And he'll aim towards the near side, and this is out of bounds inside the 20. We'll await the official spot. It's at the 15.
15-yard line. That's where the Blue Jays start.
Officials for this one, Sean Cork, the referee. Dave Plisham is the umpire. Pete Bobber, the head linesman. Jim McHugh, the line judge. Ben Hardy, field judge. John Quinn, the side judge. And the back judge is Mike Cunningham. So the 2nd possession for Elmhurst with 8:20 to play in this first quarter, leading 7-0. Marched down the field on the opening drive. Looking to follow suit here on their 2nd attempt as well. Camilleri calls for motion, clacks it on the move, and it's Williams straight ahead. Williams with some daylight.
Josh Williams, the ball carrier.
Gains 7 yards out to the 22-yard line. Williams over 800 yards rushing so far.
It's been a great job by this offensive line to open up holes for him, and especially on the game-winning drive against Augustana a couple weeks ago, the last time they played here at Elmhurst Field. The offensive line did a remarkable job. They ran straight down the field in about three or four minutes, and it was really just the offensive line dominating the Augustana defense at that point.
Well, the crazy thing about those 800-plus yards is he's totaled more than half of that in just 2 games. Camilleri keeps this time, and he is able to gain some yardage. Shy of the first down, though, out to the 24. And it's 3rd and 1.
Still, 3rd and 1 are exactly the kinds of plays and positions that Elmhurst wants to be in. 3rd and 1, lots of options for the Elmhurst coaching staff. Could run some pass-off play action. Could just run it straight up the middle with Williams again, and forcing yourself with this big offensive line.
A rare huddle for the Blue Jays. It's going to be a high-octane game today. And it's Claxton in motion. And Williams ducks under a tackle and falls forward for just enough to collect another Elmhurst first down.
Interesting call by the Elmhurst coaching staff here, going straight back down to the run, this time with a little misdirection. Starting Williams off to the left and then moving him back to the right and straight up the middle. Effective for another first down, just continuing to enforce themselves in the trenches.
6.5 to play in the first. Camilleri has a lot of options around him right now. 2 lead blockers for Williams. And very little there. Didn't do much with the crowded backfield. A bunch formation for Elmhurst.
That's an interesting full house type formation for the Blue Jays, something I definitely haven't seen yet this season, but perhaps trying to get Josh Williams in space with a couple lead blockers on more of a stretch play rather than trying to put him straight up the middle, which they've done for the most part early in this contest.
2nd and 9. Five on the line for North Park. Pressure coming. Camilleri throws. Open man. Adam Bowers crossing midfield. Bowers on a quick release from Camilleri out to the 43-yard line.
That's something that the Blue Jay offensive coaching staff loves to do, just get quick hitting routes and then let their receivers make plays. That's Adam Bowers. It was Kalen Miller last week. Perhaps it'll be Bowers this week, just getting the ball in their hands and allowing them to make one guy miss, and then it's a big play.
It's a tougher pass than you would think because you have the pressure coming on the side you're throwing, and it was 3 North Park players with arms in the air, and Camilleri still able to hit his target in Bowers. Elmhurst on the North Park side of the field as we near 5 minutes to go in the first half. It's Williams. Straight ahead, and Williams inside the 40 down to the 36.
Like you said, that last play certainly wasn't an easy play for Camilleri, certainly wasn't an easy throw. You had the majority of the pressure coming from that side, so very much agree that Camilleri need to get it up and over those hands, but still put enough on the pass. And then Williams straight ahead once again on first down, just trying to continue to give themselves 2nd and short, 3rd and short, give them lots of options offensively.
Second and 4. Williams tripped up, hit instantly by Hunter Corrigan, the junior defensive lineman from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Good penetration by the defensive line there. Impressive that they had both of their DNs, their starting DNs, Forker and Boots, both have 3+ tackles for loss per game, so something to watch out for if they're outside players for North Park and get into the backfield, put some pressure on Camilleri and force Blue Jays into 3rd and long situations.
Elmhurst very good on 3rd down so far. Facing 3rd and 4, Camilleri tucks and runs. Does he have enough? Doesn't look like it. He needed to reach the 33-yard line. And he couldn't power his way past the 35.
Looks like just a design run for Camilleri. Something tells me that he wanted to hit Claxton on the out route, saw it was covered, and then decided to tuck it early, and now the Blue Jays going to go for it on 4th and 2.
Too far for a field goal, too short to punt. Might as well give it a shot, especially given that it's only 4th and 2. North Park defense trying to fire up the fans on the far side of the field. It is 4th and 2. Claxton in motion. Josh Williams, does he have enough? Gonna be close. Near side official looks like he gave him progress. Far side not necessarily though. We'll see on the spot.
It's about a half-yard difference between those two. They're gonna give him the first down.
Ron Plans, the first-year head coach of the Blue Jays, was trying to will the officials into the first down. And they haven't actually moved the chains. Now they are.
They went with the official on the near side. He gave him an extra half yard in relation to the official on the far side. First down for the Blue Jays.
2.5 to go in the first. Camilleri gives to Williams. There hasn't been a whole lot straight ahead for Josh Williams thus far.
Forker again for the Vikings on that stop.
Leibforth, Forker, really the defensive line in general for North Park has done a great job of clogging that lane, and perhaps that's why we saw the full house stretch look earlier in the game, trying to get Josh Williams outside, give North Park a different look.
2nd and 10. And this fourth quarter is absolutely cruising. On a homecoming Saturday here in Elmhurst. It is Williams straight ahead again. Could not spin away, but a flag comes in as Matt Leibforth slowed Williams down enough.
Leibforth was matched up with Rathman, who was inserted into the lineup because of an injury to Adam Connors.
Referee signaling hold against Elmhurst. Decision time on the North Park side. Do you take the result, which would set up 3rd down? Nope. They'll take the penalty, 10 yards from the previous spot.
Like I said, that's a new left guard in for the Blue Jays, 64. Rathman, I'm not sure if he was he the one on the hold, but I know he was on the eventual tackler, which was Leibforth. Leibforth was the tackler, and he got off of a block from Rathman.
So now 2nd and 20 for Elmhurst. 7-0. The hosts with the advantage today. Long count for Camilleri. Plenty of time. Steps up, throws over the middle, wide open. Kalon Miller into the end zone, touchdown. Nick French tried his best to prevent the touchdown, but Miller wills his way across the goal line on a 41-yard play.
And this is just fantastic execution by the whole team. He starts with the offensive line, giving plenty of time for Camilleri to throw the football. Then it's Camilleri throwing a strike to Miller, and then it's Miller running a post pattern, able to get open for the touchdown.
Brett Bayer ready for the extra point. High snap. Kick, though, is right down Broadway, and it's 14-0 Elmhurst with 1:04 to play. Here's the touchdown.
And it's Kalon Miller just really getting himself open, and he's enforced himself in the last couple games now as the legitimate deep threat for the Blue Jays, something they haven't had in a couple years. What is that deep threat? And to have Miller there is just so important for this offense. It opens up other things. It'll open up Josh Williams because they won't be able to stack the box, knowing that Miller, and now we saw a good play from Adam Bowers, who plays across from Miller. So if Elmhurst can get this passing game going, and that's really going to be something to look out for all the CCIW teams, because you know they can run the ball with Josh Williams. Joe Camilleri's been able to be effective off that as well. But if they can throw in this offensive line, can give Camilleri time and a nice pocket to step into his throws, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with the rest of the CCIW schedule, and certainly the rest of this game, leading 14-0. with a minute left in the first.
2 catches for Miller, both over 35 yards in length. 14-0 Elmhurst on top. And North Park will be playing catch up the rest of the way. Bayer restarts action with a line drive. Scooped up inside the 20-yard line. And it's Walkington on the return. The running back, Drew Walkington, brings it across the 30 out to the 35.
And this North Park offense, they obviously don't necessarily want to play from behind, but they are designed to play from behind. They love to throw the ball all around the field, so they're certainly made for this type of comeback scenario. We'll see if they can get some offense going after having to punt on their first drive.
T.D. Conway completing just over 50% of his passes this year. He has overshot a couple of open receivers so far today. 1st and 10 for North Park. That's a run. Walkington with space up the middle. Walkington keeps his feet moving towards the sticks, and he'll be just shy of a first down. And actually the officials will wave him on, so a gain of 10 and a first down.
Big hole opened up in the middle by this offensive line. Nice block by the left guard, number 77 Smith, as North Park is hustling.
Walkington again for 5 yards to midfield.
Looks like they're trying to change the tempo, try to catch the Elmhurst team off balance.
You kind of said it earlier as well. I mean, if they can run the football, it'll really open up the passing attack. And this North Park squad averaging almost 270 yards a game through the air. Walkington with another first down. Keeps it moving ahead towards the 40. Dragged down to the 41-yard line.
And that's totally right. If they can keep running the football effectively like this, then that's only going to open up their strength in the pass game. And on the season, they only have 2.2 yards per carry. And here goes North Park again. A little bit of hurry up.
Walkington coming near side. How about nearly 5 more? He averages almost 5 yards per carry on the season, but it's overshadowed as the first quarter comes to a close. With Elmhurst on top, 14-0 on this homecoming Saturday. We're back with the second quarter in moments on Blue Jay TV.
Last year we had all of our girls leave except me and another girl, so we kind of got put into our captain positions. And it's not that I didn't want to do it, but I didn't know if I was ready to take that leadership role yet. But because I was thrown into it, I had to do it. So it helped me as a person and to help lead the dance team and be in control. I mean, it's difficult sometimes, no doubt about it. It's very stressful sometimes, but I probably, as much as I complain about it, I probably wouldn't change it for the world because it's making me who I am today.
Back from Langhorse Field, where one quarter is in the books. Elmhurst with a 14-0 lead today on Blue Jay TV. I'm Tim Calderwood. Luke Tanaka alongside. But North Park moving the ball on the ground. Drew Walkington 44 yards on 6 carries, averaging over 7 yards per so far. And it's Walkington again. And Elmhurst ready. Tackle for a loss on the play.
With the tackle for the Blue Jays. Loss of 1 on the play.
Jacob Sislick on the stop, the sophomore from Arlington Heights. And it's 3rd and 6. North Park, 7 rushing attempts, only 3 passes so far. Just one of those completed and none for positive yardage. Here's a pass play, and it's through the arms of the open receiver. Looking for Devin Childress, leading receiver this year in terms of yardage for North Park.
Childress, one of Conway's favorite targets, a big 6'4" frame, but that time, I believe he just threw it behind Childress unable to adjust to the football. Interesting matchup on the near side on this 4th down. You get the 6'4" Childress against the 5'5" corner Marvin Carr.
There's some big frames on the field for North Park. T.D. Conway himself 6'4". And Conway with time over the middle, wide open, 1st down and more inside the 20. As Anthony Burton snares his first grab of the year.
Just able to get open across the middle. Blue Jay linebackers possibly sucking up to check for the run, and open over the middle is the intended receiver. Conway right on target on that one.
Burton's a quarterback on the roster from Round Lake, Illinois. Conway looking into the end zone and way over the reach of Childress. Childress just a freshman for North Park.
Conway may have missed on this one as we check it out on the replay, trying to hit him on a fade, but I'm sure that the North Park offense is going to go right back to that kind of look again, especially when they're in the red zone against the smaller Elmhurst secondary.
One of the things that Mike Conway has done in his 2 seasons at North Park, expand the roster size for the Vikings. Walkington on the give towards the 10-yard line. North Park looking to strike here in the 2nd quarter.
It's been an impressive drive for them so far, especially running the football early and then being able to hit on the long pass. Conway finding one of his open targets earlier, and now back to the ground game once again and just hitting it straight forward.
3rd and 5. Conway on the fake towards the end zone and through the hands of Childress. How many open receivers has T.D. Conway missed so far today?
Well, like I said, this is the matchup that I was looking at. It's the 6'4" Childress against the 5'5" corner Marvin Carr. You throw it high enough like they did, he should be able to hit his open target just a little too high for Childress. And now this should be interesting, as this North Park has not made a field goal yet this season. This would be their first. It's from straight down the middle.
Kick is partially blocked, and it falls short from 28 yards away as Viero comes in and catches a piece. A lot of penetration up the middle.
That's a big momentum for Elmhurst there. North Park getting some momentum back with that solid drive. Drive stalls, and the Blue Jays able to limit North Park no points. Perhaps extend their lead if this offense can continue to roll like it's been rolling thus far in the game.
2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for Elmhurst. This is number 3. 13-14 to go in the first half. A 2-touchdown advantage for Elmhurst, 14-0. Camilleri with the fake to Williams, and he bounces one in to the feet of Kalen Miller.
Good read by Camilleri as the corner was playing off of Kalen Miller but couldn't quite execute the pass to him. It was a long throw for Camilleri, and he ended up bouncing it to him.
Second and 10. Camilleri with a quick look at the wristband. Claxton comes in motion. And it's Williams with a hole. Williams spinning across the 30 for an Elmhurst first down. Josh Williams in the first quarter, 12 carries, 41 yards, and a touchdown. North Park actually did a good job of slowing him down. That's less than 4 yards per carry.
On that carry, it was just the burst from Josh Williams. There wasn't much of a seam, but Williams can make a small seam seem large.
Williams averaging almost 6 yards per carry on the season. little screen to him. Out of the backfield, Williams reels it in and picks up 6 yards.
Gain of 6 on the play.
Ryan Boswell converging on the tackle for North Park. Just trying to get Williams open in space. Get him with the ball, get him in some space, see what he can do with it. That's something that the Blue Jays love to do, quick hitting routes, and then just let their receivers run with it to get some yards after the catch.
2nd and 4. Play clock inside of 10 for Camilleri. Motion up front, flag flies. It's a free one, and Camilleri is bottled up inside the 25, but should be a first down for Elmhurst as North Park jumped early. The 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
See, on the right side of the line, both players jumped. And those were the 2 players that were converging on Camilleri. The 2 white jerseys that brought him to the ground were the ones that jumped just a little too quickly, trying to anticipate the snap count.
On the hard count from Camilleri. Throwing, and it is caught across the 45-yard line. Garrett Claxon, the receiver.
Claxon, the tight end on the far side, leading receiver, playing in the slot on this one. Just quick hitting routes from Camilleri. Loves to find his tight end Claxon anywhere on the field, really. Either that quick out or just a little sit-down route in the middle of a zone if the defense decides to play zone, but leading receiver in terms of receptions for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you look at the passing offense for Elmhurst, and Claxon, your tight end, with 29 grabs. Williams, the running back, who has the ball here with 17 catches. So those are your top 2 receivers. And there was no place for Williams. As now a 3rd down and 9 coming for Elmhurst.
Brendan Dull on the tackle there. Nice play to get inside from his inside linebacker position. 52 tackles, 24 solo on the season. You can chalk up another one there, and a tackle for loss.
$10:15 to play in the half. A 3rd and long for Elmhurst. Camilleri bootlegs, steps, throws, incomplete. He had a couple of receivers in the vicinity. Adam Bowers, along with Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith has been back into the lineup. He injured earlier in the season, as on that play it seemed that Bowers was not looking back for the football quite yet, perhaps a little miscommunication or something with the wide receiver, but Tyler Smith, he had an 84-yard kick return last week against Carthage. That was a huge momentum play. Just his electricity as a runner. He's extremely quick, extremely fast. Nice to have him back in the lineup for the Blue Jays.
Brett Bayer in punt formation. Low snap, high kick. Curling to the 19-yard line. It is Markel Hawkins. 6 yards across the 25, and North Park holds on defense for the first time today.
Worsen there for the Blue Jays, along with Howard.
Solid kick coverage from the Blue Jays, but a really good stop from North Park to that big tackle for loss by Brendan Dull to force the 3rd and long was probably the most important play on defense on that drive for North Park. Get their offense back out on the field and try to stunt some of this Blue Jay momentum.
14-0 Elmhurst on top. First half of play today. Punt covered 39 yards for Bayer. And a new running back for North Park on the first play from scrimmage. It's DJ Jones. Gain of a couple.
DJ Jones just 5'2", 155 in the backfield, hiding behind that big offensive line and just looking to find a hole to propel himself through. He does like to dance a lot while he's looking for that hole.
Jones actually with more carries this year than Walkington, but this is his first appearance today. Here comes the heat, and it is behind the target. Terrence Wright open over the middle, but a quick throw from Conway just to get rid of it.
And that's something that the Blue Jays will want to look to take advantage of is that Jones is going to have a lot of trouble pass blocking back there with his small frame. That time, the linebacker for the Blue Jays, Tucker, just absolutely ran over him trying to get to the quarterback. So that'll be something to watch out for. Walkington back in the game now.
Lines up to the right of Conway. Elmhurst showing pressure. Here it comes. Walkington out of the backfield. Reels it in across the 30. But a great tackle made for the Blue Jays by Marvin Carr at the 32-yard line, and North Park will send on the kicking team.
Some more interesting wrinkles in this now the Elmhurst defense. They haven't blitzed a lot thus far this season, but that's twice they brought a linebacker. That time it was Jake Garabedian, forcing Conway to check down to his target, and then a nice tackle by Marvin Carr to limit Walkington, who had a lot of space to run if Carr missed that tackle.
Marvin Carr backs up to the 30-yard line, and a flag flies. Too many men for North Park. The referee's actually counting right now. However, as they broke the play, there was a lot of miscommunication.
Illegal substitution. 12 men in the formation. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And they'll say it was indeed too many men for North Park, backing up the Vikings even further.
It was Jamal Banks who was the one. I think he ran on the field and then tried to run right back off after he was about just inside the far numbers. Banks is back into the formation, and North Park will have a chance to punt it away here.
First punt for Geese King today was 30 yards. It pinned Elmhurst inside the 20. The average is just under 36 per touch this year with a long of 50. Carr at the 34-yard line with the clock running. Here comes the heat. Down goes Geese King. Ball will bounce at the 41-yard line, and it'll bounce into the Elmhurst sideline. But with Geese King hitting the deck, the offense is probably coming back on for North Park.
Personal foul. Number 30 on the defense.
Jake Paulicki, the senior, guilty. And an automatic first down for North Park. So after the defense holds, they're going to have to do it again.
Paulicki went in and just narrowly missed the block. There were about 3 Blue Jays. They brought a ton of pressure trying to block that kick. But Paulicki's got to know if he misses that kick, he's got to make sure to get out of the way so he doesn't cause North Park to get the first down. But now, basically a gimme and a mulligan for the North Park offense back out on the field.
That's always the danger you run when pressure comes as well. But you got to know that if you can't get a piece, you have to stop, which is in many cases easier said than done. Walkington lost his own footing. Back to the line of scrimmage.
Interesting wrinkle to bring the wide receiver in motion, but just a normal give to Walkington, perhaps just trying to give the Elmhurst defense another look. Just tripped up by his own feet there. 40-yard line got him.
Midpoint of the second quarter. It's still a 14-0 lead for Elmhurst. Touchdowns on the first 2 offensive possessions. Conway over the middle. This one is snared by Anthony Burton. Second catch of the game and the year inside the 30 down to the 23.
Like you mentioned, the first time he made a catch, Burton is listed as a quarterback, but his 6-foot, 210-pound frame against this Blue Jay defense has been a really effective so far. He's able to get a lot of separation from his covering corner. Valdez Honorable able to make the stop for the Blue Jays. Big gain for North Park, and back deep in Elmhurst territory.
Not just listed as a quarterback, he's on the 2 deep as the backup to T.D. Conway. 1st and 10. Big gainer, 35 yards. Pressure comes. Conway nowhere near his target, Terrence Wright. Pressure coming from Elmhurst. That was Eddie Byer off the end.
Conway was looking for the out and up, and there just wasn't enough up from Terrence Wright. Looked like it was open as Marvin Carr backed off, and so perhaps that's why Wright wanted to run the out pattern. He was open on the out, tried to run the up, and it wasn't there.
On 2nd down, Walkington straight ahead. And he is stood up by Valdez Honorable. Gain of about 5 on the play.
Garabedian ran a little stunt to the outside from his inside linebacker position. Able to get around the corner and make a play. Stop North Park and force him into a 3rd and 5.
Conway throws high, incomplete for Hawkins.
Blue Jays got some pressure on this play, as we'll see on the replay. Conway ended up being on his back. 2 Blue Jays, both ends from the line. Able to get some heat on Conway, and it looks like North Park is going to go for it. This time 4th and 5.
Field goal blocked on the last possession.
Perhaps some lack of confidence in the kicking game.
Also facing that 2-touchdown deficit as we near halftime. 4th and 5, timeout North Park. We'll take a look at some of the other action around the CCIW today. Augustana visits Illinois Wesleyan. Carthage is at North Central, and Wheaton traveling south to meet Milliken. 3 unbeaten, 3 winless, and 2 even at 1-1 so far through 2 weeks of conference play.
After watching Wheaton, I watched a little bit of the Wheaton North Park game earlier today. Check out North Park, and I was really impressed by Wheaton's quarterback, who I believe is a new quarterback in this year. He's a runner and he's a thrower. He ran for 2 rushing touchdowns early in that game against North Park, and perhaps similar to Augustana's quarterback Sam Frasco, who we saw a couple weeks ago here at Langhorse Field. Blue Jays, I believe, traveling to Wheaton this year.
4th and 5 inside the red zone for North Park. Conway with the fake, throws over the outstretched arms of Anderson, the leading receiver for North Park with 35 catches this year, his first target today. And Conway again hurrying his throw. Never really setting his feet either.
Just didn't set his feet. I feel like he could have stepped into that throw. The pocket was collapsing, but it wasn't to the point where it looked like there was a man in his face, and perhaps Conway just a little shaky with the feet there, and thinking that he has been sacked 14 times this year. Perhaps just going a little quicker than he needed to be, and again the throw sailed on him, and perhaps that's why the throws are sailing on Conway, is that he's not quite stepping into him.
Elmhurst takes over. 1st and 10 with 6:09 to play in the first half. Claxon in motion. And it's Williams twisting across the 20 to the 22. Gaining 4 yards on the play.
Back to the ground game once again for the Blue Jays. Just a handoff. Camilleri making a good decision to hand it off to Williams straight up the middle, even though it's been tough for the Blue Jays to get something going via the ground, via Josh Williams through the middle. I have a feeling that one of these times Camilleri is going to pull it out of the belly and have a lot of running room to the outside.
Williams to the left of Camilleri on 2nd and 6. And Camilleri keeps.
Camilleri, the ball carrier.
Maybe a yard on the push. Camilleri 139 yards on the ground this season, plus his 843 through the air.
Now 3rd down and pretty manageable for the Blue Jays. 3rd and 5 and shorter is ideal for the Blue Jays, so they have some options offensively. I'm looking at Kalen Miller on the near side, number 83.
Elmhurst 3 out of 5 on 3rd down today. Camilleri dumps it off.
Camilleri pass complete to Connor Brewer.
And Connor Brewer has a 1st down across the 30-yard line.
Boswell there for the Vikings.
It's a good job by Brewer coming out from the slot position, just sitting down in an open area around the 1st down marker. Camilleri finds him quickly, and they're able to convert the 1st down, but just a smart play by Brewer to find the soft spot in the North Park defense.
Nearing 4 minutes to go in the 1st half. 14-0 Elmhurst. Balance the name of the game so far. 66 on the ground, 126 through the air. A couple of big pass plays. Camilleri steps left, and it's Claxton with a 1st down and more. Claxton along the near sideline, tiptoeing across the 50-yard line and out of the North Park side.
And that's almost like a triple option for Camilleri there. He can either hand it off to Williams, keep, or throw to Claxton, and Claxton just standing out there. Camilleri saw somebody bearing down on him, pulled it out of the belly of Josh Williams, and flipped it over to Claxton, who was able to gain a lot of yards after the catch. Nice block on the near side by one of the Elmhurst wide receivers to spring Claxton around to the near side.
31st reception of the season for Claxton. Elmhurst sets up at the North Park 47. Williams moving the pile inside the 45, still on his feet. And North Park halts forward progress at the 44.
This is the kind of situation that Elmhurst just loves to be in. Just over 3 minutes to go, in plus territory. Just being able to run the football, run that clock, make sure that North Park doesn't have another chance to score in this half, and come away with some points of your own heading into the locker room.
2nd down and 7. Miller all alone to the near side. Camilleri sizes it up, and he's going to keep. And ducks underneath the tackler. He'll be near the 1st down marker. They always say go low on your tackle, right? Matt Liebforth went high and could not drag down the quarterback. See, right there underneath it.
It's right underneath. Nice. Camilleri isn't the most fleet of foot quarterback we've seen in the CCIW, but he does have a solid running ability. And just another wrinkle that Elmhurst is able to add in. Make sure defenses have to account for multiple different types of plays, multiple different kinds of players.
5'11", 190, the senior quarterback for Elmhurst. Joe Camilleri on 3rd and 2. Play clock down to 2, and flags fly.
Penalty flag on the play.
Movement up front for Elmhurst as the entire North Park defensive line was across. It was an illegal snap from the center. And it brings up 3rd down and now 7 for Elmhurst.
You can see on the replay that the center, number 79, Drake Hoffman, did indeed. He moved his hand as he was holding the ball and causing the illegal snap and causing the North Park defense to start the play early.
Less than 2 minutes to play in the half. Camilleri drops, steps, throws. Claxton out of his reach.
This is incomplete, intended for Claxton.
A lot of white jerseys around in the vicinity of the target, Garrett Claxton. He's in the slot.
just unable to find him. He had some room in between about 3 or 4 North Park defenders. Camilleri just couldn't quite drop it in perfectly for Claxton, and that's a tough throw to make down the field. I've been very impressed with what Joe Camilleri's done so far in this game, throwing it down the field. That time just couldn't quite connect with his favorite target.
Brett Bayer has handled the punting duties so far. This, however, is Tom Finucane. Off the left foot, angling towards the near sideline and out of bounds. He was trying to pinpoint North Park deep. On his 12th punt of the year, it is spotted at the 20-yard line. And North Park has 1:22 to work with here in the half.
That wind is blowing towards us a little bit, and also, I believe, towards the left as well of the field, towards the east. And so the wind grabbed that punt that was taken from the near hash and just took it right out of bounds. Still able to pin North Park deep enough to the point where they got to go now 80 yards with 2 timeouts in just under 1:30.
Just 24 yards on the Finucane punt. 1st and 10, North Park. Conway, quick release to Anderson. Juggled momentarily. He will gain 7 yards on the play. And the hurry-up look coming for North Park, as you would expect, although it's nothing really different for the Vikings offensively.
They don't normally huddle anyway.
And incomplete. That was nearly picked off,
Broken up by Tucker.
as Brian Tucker had it end up through his hands.
Boy, that was in his hands. It was down by his feet, but either way, the throw ended up going right to him. He can't believe, I don't know if he could believe that the throw was right to him, and perhaps it surprised him a little bit.
2 timeouts for North Park to utilize. And Conway has completed just 4 attempts here in the first half. 3rd and short. And it's Anderson with a first down. Anderson trying to change directions towards the Elmhurst sideline. Ahead to the 32-yard line for a North Park first down.
Those quick hitting routes in the middle of the field they're not Elmhurst's worst enemy at this point with only 50 seconds to go, even though the clock does stop every first down.
But that's where North Park has been most effective on offense through the air today as well. Conway, wide open, is right, and he overthrew him again. How many receivers has T.D. Conway missed in the first half?
That is a sure walk-in touchdown if that's connected and completed. I mean, you look, Terrence, I don't even know if he had anybody on him on the far side. He didn't.
Nobody ever picked him up.
Nobody picked him up. Marvin Carr was guarding the inside receiver, and Wright was wide open. Nobody was there. I don't even know if he was supposed to run that route, but he and Conway were on the same page. Conway just couldn't connect with him.
37 8/10. Conway deep again, looking for Burton and nearly intercepted. Tyler Schwartz with the coverage.
And again, this isn't a horrible throw, but it's still not quite where it needs to be, and that's a tough one in between a couple of defenders. But either way, I bet he's still thinking about that throw to Terrence Wright, that if he completes, it's pretty much a sure touchdown.
3rd and 10. Conway pressured, steps up, rolls left, throws through the hands of Wright, incomplete. Carr in his back pocket, forcing the incompletion.
That time, that's a good throw and a good movement in the pocket by Conway. It's a really good throw on the run, showing off his arm strength. But that time just dropped by Wright.
Terrence Wright, 5'9". Compare that to some of the other receivers at 6'4", 5'11", 6'2" for North Park. 4th and 10. And Geese King will have his second credited punt of the day. He was roughed on his last attempt. And no real pressure coming from Elmhurst. And nobody deep either, as this will skip out of bounds at the 27-yard line. With 14.7 to play in the half, we'll see if Elmhurst stops to run a play or just takes a knee.
Nice long punt there to pin Elmhurst deep enough to the point where it seems that Elmhurst will just indeed take a knee, but we'll check the formation before we confirm that for sure. But still a good offensive half from the Blue Jays. They scored on their first 2 possessions. Second 2 stalled, but they did move the field into plus territory on 3 of their 4 possessions in the first half.
And Elmhurst will indeed take a knee to wind down the first half of play. Touchdowns on the first 2 possessions of the game opened a 14-0 lead. And that is where we stand as we reach the half on homecoming. Elmhurst 14, North Park nothing. The newest members of the Blue Jay Backer Elmhurst Hall of Fame will be officially inducted momentarily here at the break. But a solid opening 30 minutes of play for Elmhurst on both sides of the ball.
Defensively, it's an interesting puzzle because Conway hasn't been able to connect with his receivers.
There's no other way to put it. He was terrible in the first half. 6 of 19.
And a lot of those throws are over the heads. They're not drops. They're just missed. He just missed the receivers. And a lot of them he overthrew. Certainly wasn't a very good first half for Conway, and that's going to be something I'm sure the coaching staff is going to look at in this going into the second half, because that's their offense, is the passing offense. And if they're not hitting on the passes, then that's certainly a problem for them offensively.
Stats and more coming your way in a bit. 14-0 Elmhurst on top of the break. This is Blue Jay TV.
And ranks among the top 25 among active coaches in Division III in total victories. She's been recognized as the Coach of the Year on 4 occasions in the CCIW and was also ADCA Midwest Region's Coach of the Year 4 times, which includes the last 3 consecutive seasons. Hall's teams have won 8 CCIW championships and made 10 total appearances in the NCAA tournament. In her time at Elmhurst, Hall has coached 19 All-Americans, 7 CCIW Players of the Year, and 73 All-Conference honorees. Blue Jay volleyball coach Julie Hall. Also at the 50-yard line, Brent Rook, a men's basketball player, a 2009 graduate of Elmhurst College. Brent was a 3-time first-team All-Conference selection for the men's basketball team, who closed out his career with over 1,500 points and a pair of All-America honors. During his junior year, Rook averaged 16.5 points and 8.6 rebounds per game. He earned first-team All-Conference honors and was recognized as a 4th-team All-American by D3Hoops.com. As a senior, he averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds while earning 2nd-team All-America honors and leading the Blue Jays to a 20-8 overall record and a trip to the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time in school history. Rook closed out his career with 1,516 points and 768 career rebounds, becoming just the 4th player in Elmhurst history to total over 1,500 points and 750 rebounds. He ranked 6th in Elmhurst history in both scoring and rebounding, while also holding school records for games played at 107, career field goal percentage at 61%, and blocked shots at 109. Brent Rook. Also inducted this morning but unable to join us here at halftime is Brian McConnell, men's track and field. He enters the Hall of Fame as a 4-time All-American in men's indoor track and outdoor track and field. Brian McConnell. First up for your halftime entertainment, the Elmhurst College Cheer Squad.
The balance with athletics in school, it's just, with me, I did it all throughout high school, so I needed to do sports in order to stay focused. I was injured my freshman year, and I just felt like so off track. It didn't feel natural. Like, I think a lot of the students coming from high school and coming to D3, it's like what they need to stay focused. I mean, if you could do it in high school, you could do it here. You can just join the team and just have fun. It's nice having like that other family aside from like, you know, being at home. Don't be afraid to go out there and try new things.
Playing college football 4 years is very tough, but it's also very, very rewarding. Through Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Elmhurst College, I think has really helped me grow because, I mean, I wasn't the most outgoing guy in the beginning, but as my time went on, just meeting new people, I've kind of stepped out and became, I don't know, more of a witness in my faith. And I think, you know, Fellowship of Christian Athletes has helped that, and I think Elmhurst College has encouraged that.
We got a lot of like hands-on experience. We're mostly in the classrooms, and then the teachers here in the special education department are amazing, and they just have so much to give to us and a lot of great ideas. So I think like coming to Elmhurst, I've heard a lot of great things about like teachers out feel a lot more prepared than other teachers from other schools, and some of my like student teaching placements are with Elmhurst College graduates. It's good to know that they made it successfully out of there, and I know I'm going to go out successfully too.
First half is in the books. Elmhurst with a 14-0 advantage on the board. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from the opening 30 minutes of play. Both teams near identical in terms of plays. North Park ran 31 plays in the first half, Elmhurst 32. The difference, though, has been yardage, almost 100 more for Elmhurst. 223 compared to 132 for North Park, which, of course, has slanted the time of possession as well. At the beginning of the contest, we talked about how important time of possession is for Elmhurst to keep North Park off the field. Well, Elmhurst 19:59 in the first half, North Park 10:01. Taking a look at some of the specifics, the biggest story for North Park is the inability of T-Day Conway to get started at all. Conway just 6 of 19, 72 yards in the first half. He's connected twice with Anthony Burton for 55 yards and twice with Daniel Anderson as well. On the flip side for Elmhurst, really what we need to see more of in the second half is Josh Williams. 55 yards on 16 first half carries. He's getting his touches. Just not a lot of yards right now at 3.4 per carry. Also a catch for Williams out of the backfield. Kayla Miller with 2 catches, 78 yards and a touchdown for Elmhurst. Both of those catches came on touchdown scoring drives. In fact, one of them was a TD, a 41-yard pass from Joe Camilleri, who completed 7 of his 10 first half passes for 148 yards. A 7-play drive and an 11-play drive for Elmhurst in the opening quarter of play to open a 14-0 lead and nothing since. Brett Bayer places the ball down at the 35-yard line. Now let's begin the second half. An angling kick towards the near side, bouncing into the end zone and up against the goal line for a touchback.
That's a touchback.
I'll tell you what I thought in that first half was how impressed I was with Joe Camilleri. And 7 for 10, 148 yards, and most of them were quick-hitting routes, but just his ability to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball deep down the field. I thought he really only threw about 4 passes deep down the field and completed 3 of them. And I thought that was extremely impressive from Camilleri in the first half. Obviously, you'd love to get Williams going, but now it'll be interesting with North Park's offense coming on the field. Can T.D. Conway turn it around? He had a really an abysmal first half for his standards, I'm sure.
Conway with a delayed draw to Walkington, who was hit behind the line of scrimmage. Big first half for Drew Walkington. I expect to see more of him in the second, but for North Park to be successful, they need to move the ball vertically. 10 carries, 54 yards. Second and 11 on the play. Conway skips it in. Well, that's not the way you want to start to Devin Childress. 3rd and 11.
Childress is that big 6'4" frame. You got to get it up. Get it to his numbers or higher, because he's going to have an advantage in height over anyone in the secondary, specifically the guy that was guarding him at that time, Marvin Carr, who's only 5'5".
T.D. Conway, just a sophomore, started last year for North Park as well. His dad, the head coach. Flushed from the pocket and dropped. Nick Spracklin.
What a great effort by Nick Spracklin, coming in from the far side of the line. Spin move just to absolutely leave his blocker in the dust. And straight to Conway, no room for him to go. Huge play by the Elmhurst defense to start this for second half.
John Giesking, 2 punts, 35.5 yards per in the first half of play. His long was 41. And Elmhurst with a quick 3-and-out to commence the second half. Giesking stands at his own goal line. Low snap. And another horrible kick off the side of the foot. This will just make the 30-yard line, if that. Depends on where it went out of bounds. And the field judge will indeed spot it at the 31 for Elmhurst. Great field position to start.
That was a low snap, and then Giesking just couldn't really get it away effectively. He shanked it right off the side of his foot, couldn't line up the ball. I think he tried to rush it a little bit. There wasn't any pressure coming. But in his rush, he shanked it right off the side of his foot. That may be a 15-yard punt or something in that vicinity.
I'm Tim Calderwood. He's Luke Tanaka on Blue Jay TV. 1st and 10 Elmhurst. Opening possession of the second half for the Blue Jays, leading 14-0. Camilleri options left. Flips to Williams with an opening. Flag comes in as Williams stopped at the 26-yard line by Brendan Tull.
I think Kalen Miller is going to be called for something here.
It is a block in the back.
There's the defender, number 47 for North Park. We'll see it right here. Kalen Miller's just going to push him right in the back. He got on the wrong side of him. Couldn't body him up, and to avoid Josh Williams taking a big hit, just pushed him in the back far enough. It'll be a 10-yard penalty for the Blue Jays and give them a 1st and long.
It's actually a spot foul, so well, initially we were going to make it an 11-yard penalty, and now they'll push it back to the 40. Make it 1st and 20. Camilleri extremely efficient in the first half. And a lot of that has to do with the play calls he's receiving from the Elmhurst sideline. First-year head coach Ron Plans, who played at Carthage himself. Josh Williams leapfrogging a tackler and picking up 10 yards back to the original line of scrimmage.
And that's them trying to stretch Josh Williams to the outside. As you see, it's just a straight draw. Lots of room towards the right side. Good blocking by the offensive line. Then Williams making a couple guys miss with his elusive feet.
That's where the bulk of yardage has come for Williams, to the outside. Very little up the middle. (14-0) Elmhurst. 2nd and 10. Camilleri to throw. Steps up. It's complete. Kalen Miller. 8 yards to the 22.
Another quick hitting route over the middle. This time Miller.
Ryan Boswell slows him up.
Middle receiver on the far side, just running a little in pattern. Hanging out in the spot where the defense isn't, making it easy pitch and catch for Camilleri.
3rd down. Elmhurst trying to distance a 2-touchdown advantage. Williams the lone back. And straight ahead, shy of the 1st down. Needed to make the 20, got to the 21. Decision time for Ron Plans, and the decision is to bring out the field goal unit.
Well, Camilleri wanted to hurry up there. See Josh Williams in the middle. You could see at the end of that replay, Camilleri trying to signal to play and say, hey, let's hurry it up and let's go for it. But instead, we're well within Brett Bayer's field goal range.
This will be a 39-yarder for Bayer, who is 4 of 5 this year. His long is 37. Kick is blocked. Line drive right into the teeth of North Park, but a flag does come down. And they are signaling as though this will be against Elmhurst. North Park celebrates the defensive stop. We have seen a pair of blocked field goals today, one from each side.
Yeah, Elmhurst able to block a field goal early in the first half. Stunt a North Park's first effective drive, so now Blue Jays' first drive of the half stalls. North Park blocks the punt. We'll see if Conway in the offense can change what they've been doing. Perhaps get Walkington going again, hit with a play action pass. And Conway's just got to be accurate. I mean, that's all there is to it.
There's a scramble after the block.
Just a lot of pushing and shoving going on in there.
Ryan Boswell credited with the block for North Park. 11:01 to play third quarter. Second possession for North Park. A little bit of motion. Walkington slips again. That's the second time he's lost his footing in the backfield.
That was a pretty bad snap, too, as Conway had to reach out with his right hand just to be able to corral it, and then feet came right out from under of Walkington.
Loss of 3. Elmhurst showing some pressure up front. And now the Blue Jays back off. Play clock inside of 10 for Conway. And this one's swatted in the air and knocked down. Elmhurst with some great defense. Andy Warson, the rover. That's him moving in the slot.
Nice play by Warson. They brought Elmhurst bringing some pressure, but if the ball is going to be thrown and you're unable to get to the quarterback, put your hands up, try to block a pass, and that's what he did.
3rd and 13. Conway stepping up. Walkington with the grab out of the backfield. Maybe 2 yards. And it'll again be punt time for North Park.
Again, nothing vertical for North Park on that possession. Just short, quick-hitting routes. They tried to set up the screen. Warson blocked it. Now they set up the screen on the far side with Walkington, but it was going nowhere. At some point, North Park is going to have to open up the playbook and start going back downfield and put some trust in their quarterback, Conway.
2 things. Number 1, the secondary of Elmhurst has been phenomenal so far today. And a lot of that has to do with the fact of initial pressure coming from the defensive line, which doesn't really allow Conway time for his receivers to gain separation. And a bounce for the Vikings to the Elmhurst 46 on the Geese King punt. And a short field again for Elmhurst. So we play a battle of field position here in this third quarter.
And in this third quarter, Elmhurst is going to be going with the wind. So it'll certainly help in their field position battle. Last time they decided to take the fourth quarter with the wind, and that was worked out to their benefit as the final drive for Elmhurst was an extremely effective 1 of 4 minute scoring drive that clinched the game 17-10. That was when they were here against Augustana a couple games ago.
Williams, stutter steps, coming near side, flag flies as Joe Butts drags down the Elmhurst running back by the jersey.
Another penalty flag.
First shot.
Holding
penalty against Elmhurst. The other point I was trying to make as it relates to the North Park vertical passing game is, quite frankly, I mean, T.J. Conway has struggled today. 6 out of 19. and he's had receivers open downfield. So maybe that's a situation of trying to get his confidence boosted by the short game before attempting to take some more shots downfield.
Very much agree with you on that one. Try to get him some completions and then start to bring the ball down the field.
Williams in motion. They'll dump to him. And it's read perfectly. What an open field tackle by Craig Butler. The freshman from Bourbonnais saw it the whole way. And Elmhurst going the wrong way. It is 2nd and 23.
Nice play on the top part of the screen. No chance for Adam Bowers to get a block on him. That's one of the things where Bowers has got to make sure he's blocking for Williams there if they set up that screen. Nice play by Butler to sweep the legs. Another tackle for loss for North Park and a long 2nd down for the Blue Jays.
Camilleri rolls right, steps up, throws deep, and reeled in. Oh, baby. Corey Partenheimer.
For Partenheimer, that's the first time I've seen him make a catch this year, and what a great play by Camilleri, eluding the pressure, rolling all the way out to the near side, but then setting his feet and throwing a bullet down the near side. Partenheimer with a nice catch. He stays in bounds, and another big play vertical down the field for the Blue Jays.
41 yards. That is 3 plays for Elmhurst of 35 yards or more through the air. You're in the midpoint of the 3rd quarter, still 14-0 Elmhurst on top this homecoming Saturday. Camilleri off his back foot to the near sideline, incomplete. Claxton, the only receiver in the vicinity.
Leaveforth with some good pressure to force Camilleri out of the pocket again. That time you could see Drake Hoffman just kind of let off. He almost held on the play and just let Leaveforth go and let Camilleri throw it away.
At the 26-yard line, Elmhurst with a 14-0 lead. 2nd down and 10. Trips wide left, and Camilleri checks off. He looks right, throws, and connects. Inside the 15-yard line, Adam Bowers will have an Elmhurst first down.
Quick hitting route. See if Bowers can make a play. Just plows straight into the corner, McCann, and gains a couple extra yards after the catch.
At the 14-yard line. It is 1st and 10 for Elmhurst, trying to build upon this 14-0 lead. The Blue Jays have not scored since just over a minute to go in the 1st quarter. They have kept the clock rolling, though. And Camilleri dumps it off to Claxton for the touchdown. North Park's sold-out run, and Camilleri with a quick release to the wide-open Claxton for the score.
Great decision by Joe Camilleri there. It almost looked like perhaps it was play action, perhaps it was almost a type of option play. We've seen them run that before. A different pattern to Claxton where Camilleri has the option. If the defense sells out run, pull it right out of the belly, and then just dump it out over the middle. Another touchdown for throwing for Camilleri to his favorite target, Claxton.
2nd passing touchdown today, 2nd touchdown reception for Claxton. The extra point is through, and Elmhurst now leads 21-0 with 6:53 to play in this 3rd quarter.
Just a good play by the Elmhurst coaching staff, knowing that in the red zone, North Park is going to be selling out towards the run, and just being able to have a wide open Garrett Claxton running the post pattern. But that's a nice drive for Elmhurst, and one that I feel is very similar to the first scoring drive they had, where they ran the ball a ton, had one large passing play over the middle. This time it was a long pass play to Partenheimer. That was the big play of the drive, and then Camilleri on play action. I've been extremely impressed by Camilleri in this game, and just his ability to, 1, throw the ball down the field, and 2, be extremely accurate on his passes over the middle to his big targets of Kalen Miller and Garrett Claxton, the ones that he loves to throw to the most, and really getting a lot of players involved. I believe there are at least 4 receivers, maybe possibly even 5 receivers for Camilleri. He's been throwing the ball around to a lot of different targets. Rather than just always checking down to Claxton or trying to always go deep to Miller, it's been spread out with the targets for Camilleri.
Camilleri, 12 completions to 6 different receivers. 4 of those have at least 2 catches. 219 yards, 2 touchdowns for the senior. 21-0 Elmhurst. Brett Bayer with the kickoff, bouncing to the 10-yard line. Markel Hawkins straight ahead up the hash marks. Stopped shy of the 30-yard line. And North Park with a bigger deficit to attempt to overcome today.
Now let's see if they continue to go to these short routes. I'm assuming they're going to try to throw the ball more. Perhaps try to get Walkington involved in the passing game, get him out in some space. They have a lot of big targets to North Park. So Conway, if he can throw the ball high, he can throw it above the Elmhurst defense and to his taller targets.
1st and 10 for North Park. Conway looks right, flips it to Hawkins. And Hawkins bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Falls forward for maybe a yard.
And Hawkins bobbled that. I didn't know if he ever had the ball until finally he got taken to the ground and was eventually able to corral it, but dangerous play with a couple of Blue Jays right there.
John Eliadis nearly forcing a turnover, which we haven't actually seen today. None of those from either side. The biggest things that have happened today have been a couple of blocked field goals. Conway behind his receiver. Alvin Cash, the senior tight end from San Diego.
Another missed opportunity there for Conway. Conway had his receiver open, perhaps some room to run if he leads him, but instead, about a yard or 2 behind his receiver, and eventually, if North Park's going to want to get back into this game, Conway's going to have to start being accurate.
3rd and long for North Park. Just 2 of 8 on 3rd down in the first half. 0 for 2 thus far in the 3rd quarter. Conway feeling the heat, throwing towards Cash, and it's broken up. Great coverage from Valdez Honorable, knocking it out of the arms of Alvin Cash in what would have been a first down.
Now on that one, Conway it was a good throw from Conway to his receiver Cash, but just a better play by Valdez Honorable. Now, Honorable was the man to strip the ball away from Cash, and another solid play from the Elmhurst secondary, getting the North Park offense off the field.
Inside of 6 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter, it is 21-0 Elmhurst. John Geese King to punt it away. Pressure comes, high kick. Marvin Carr backs up on it, takes a North Park bounce inside the 40 down to the 37.
There's a flag. They ran into the kicker once again, so that's going to be another gimme for North Park and a mulligan for their first down.
Officials saying that was Eddie Beyer, the sophomore. And apparently this is a running into the kicker. I thought that was a rule change this year.
I believe it was a rule change. Let's see.
The officials are going to talk about it.
I think it was certainly enough to be roughing. He rolled up into the legs.
And again,
I
thought there was a rule change in the offseason that they talked about eliminating the running into altogether. And anytime you make contact with the kicker, turning it into a roughing penalty.
Right.
And I think that's what they finally talked about and have come to an agreement with. And it will be an automatic first down for North Park. Although only the 34-yard line. No,
the punter's back out there.
All right. Sure. Must have heard that wrong.
So I guess we're bringing back the running into the kicker for today's game.
So it's 4th and 3. Geese King trying again. Elmhurst stays away from him. Carr backs up to the 30. Dropped it. It's loose, and there's the first turnover. North Park pounces on the football at the 25-yard line. The recovery for the Vikings, Brian Palmer, at a special teams play for the Vikings. That almost works out better for North Park than what would have been an automatic first down.
I mean, that's almost like a long completion. Essentially, it's what, like a 50-yard play for North Park as Marvin Carr, he was under it, and then all of a sudden with the wind, the ball just died on him. It went right off his hands, and there was no way as he tried to catch it on a dive that he was going to get back to get on that football. So first turnover of the game. North Park now with another chance in plus territory. Get some points on the board.
Down 21-0. Ken Conway jumpstart the offense. A handoff to Walkington. And he is swallowed up instantly. Whistles blowing all over the place. John Eliadis amongst those leading the tackling for Elmhurst.
I thought Walkington had some space to the right if he cuts back. It sure looked like it from this angle, perhaps not from his, but ended up running straight into that giant pile on the left side of the line.
Jake Garabedian was there as well. 2nd and 10. Clock running. 5:07 to play in this third quarter. It's 21-0 Elmhurst. TD Conway looking right, throwing, underthrown, and picked off by Marvin Carr at the 5-yard line. He atones for the muff punt with an interception on the underthrown pass to Childress. And Elmhurst takes over inside the 10.
Like you said, Marvin Carr now getting the turnover back for Elmhurst. But on that play, Conway had all sorts of pressure in his face and threw it right off his back foot. And when you throw it off your back foot, it's not going to go as far as you think it is. Ended up being short. Wind grabbed it, wind blowing straight against that throw, and Marvin Carr able to make the easy interception, get the Blue Jay offense back on the field.
So the first half did not feature a turnover. We have seen turnovers essentially the last 3 plays. Handoff. Williams to the 10.
Josh Williams, the ball carrier.
And now's about the time when that clock, as we
with the tackle for the Vikings.
Look at that first run from Walkington again. It's
gain of 2 on the play.
Where the clock starts to be against the favor of North Park and with the favor of Elmhurst, especially the way Elmhurst loves to run their offense. Quick hitting inside routes and a lot of running with Josh Williams. They're just going to keep that clock moving now with under the 20 minutes left to go in the game, 5 minutes in the third quarter.
Claxton in motion. And Camilleri keeps. Read nicely by the North Park defensive front. Matt Liebforth drops the Elmhurst quarterback.
Boy, Camilleri, that was dangerous, dangerously handling that football. Instead of tucking it in his arm like you would expect, instead it's Camilleri holding it out in front of him with 2 hands, and that's a dangerous play from Camilleri. The last thing you want to do is fumble the football in this part of the field. So Camilleri's definitely got to be more secure with that football, especially with the lead.
3rd and 7. Play clock inside of 10. And Camilleri just gets the snap off. A fade to the near sideline and well overthrown. Coverage for North Park, Dylan Woods on Adam Bowers, who was looking for contact down the near side.
He wasn't the only one looking for contact, as head coach Ron Plans came sprinting down the sideline, threw his head on the ground wondering what the call was. He is not happy at all, just absolutely irate at the official, but it didn't seem like anything too egregious on the penalty by the North Park defense. I thought it was a pretty good call, pretty good no call.
Wow. He really was letting the official have it.
He was all over the official. He was a full-on sprint down the sideline after watching that.
Brett Bayer punted once in the first half for 39 yards.
Hawkins back deep for North Park.
Hawkins lets it bounce and roll to the 41-yard line. We have a flag back in the area of the original line of scrimmage. With 3:04 to go, it is against Elmhurst, I believe. They're looking at the North Park side. I think they'd make him catch it again. Or I think they'd make him punt it again.
They will. They're going to take that penalty and have him punt it again because that was a pretty good punt. So we once again look at that deep pass down the sideline. A little bit of hand checking, but although the corner didn't get his head turned around, either way the throw was well over the head of Bowers.
Now our vantage point here in the Langhorst Field press box is right next to the visiting coaches. I just heard on the headset the North Park assistant say, "Tell Markel to catch the ball." It bounced about 10 yards past him. He moves up to the 45-yard line. As Bayer to try again, this time from the shadows of his goalpost. And a high kick, backing up Hawkins to midfield. And he is hit instantly. As North Park will take over at the Elmhurst 48-yard line. Andy Warson was the first to meet Hawkins.
Perhaps the North Park coaching staff trying to get some electricity into their offense through special teams in a play, but that was a great punt by Brett Bayer and good coverage by the Blue Jays. Hawkins had to move back for it and then was swallowed up by 3 or 4 defenders.
1st and 10. A handoff to Walkington, moving the pile inside the 45.
Walkington has been impressive. He averages 4.7 yards per carry, and you can see why. He's a pretty physical runner. Loves to run in between the tackles.
Walkington again spinning away from the initial tackler. Close to the 40-yard line, sets up 3rd and short for North Park.
And this 3rd and short is so important for North Park because they haven't been able to convert any 3rd downs. This 3rd down is going to be huge for them going forward. And not only that, but North Park has a lot of options on this play. They can run the play action pass. They can try to run Walkington straight up the middle once again. Or they could try to get Conway a short hitting route to get his confidence back.
3rd and 4. North Park wanted a timeout. Walkington in the flat. Has a first down.
Carr there for the Blue Jays along with Howard.
Carr and Trent Howard on the stop, but not before a North Park first down.
There's an easy pitch and catch for Conway to help his confidence a little bit. Nice adjustment by Walkington to make the play and then dive forward for the first down.
Well, it was scramble mode for North Park. They were calling for a timeout, but didn't get the signal in before the snap came. Minute and a half to go in the 3rd, 21-0 Elmhurst. North Park sets up from the Elmhurst 37. Conway in the pocket, off the back of his fullback. Victor Inestra, the freshman from Woodstock, Illinois. He wasn't looking for the football.
No, I think he was just blocking on the play, and Conway just threw it straight into his back. Not sure what his intended target was.
Walkington straight ahead, and Elmhurst has made some adjustments against the North Park run. Pickup of a couple.
But Elmhurst bringing a lot of guys in the box to stop this run and trying to force Conway to beat them over the top, which he has not been able to do all game.
So another 3rd down for North Park. With inside a minute to play in this 3rd quarter. Walkington with space inside the 30. continues to drive ahead, and he'll end up just short of that first down on likely the final play of this third quarter.
That third down run, I think, essentially means they're showing their hand. They're definitely going for it on this fourth down. They're lined up to go for it, and I believe they'll be able to get the play off. We'll see if they want to run this play before the quarter. Play clock is turned off.
It is a 4th and 2. And nope, we'll wait until the 4th. It's kind of what I was anticipating. 3 quarters in the books on homecoming here at Elmhurst College. 21-0, Elmhurst with the lead on Blue Jay TV.
We got a lot of hands-on experience. We're mostly in the classrooms, and then teachers here and it's been the special education department are amazing, and they just have so much to give to us and a lot of great ideas. So I think coming to Elmhurst, I've heard a lot of great things about teachers out feel a lot more prepared than other teachers from other schools. And some of my student teaching placements are with Elmhurst College graduates. It's good to know that they made it successfully out of there, and I know I'm going to go out successfully too.
15 back up on the clock, moving to the fourth quarter of action here at Elmhurst on Blue Jay TV. I'm Tim Calderwood. Luke Tanaka alongside. 21-0 Elmhurst in front. And Elmhurst again with a lot of time of possession in that third quarter. 308 yards of offense now for Elmhurst, more than double the amount for North Park on not nearly as many plays. 48 plays for North Park, 43 for Elmhurst. North Park is only 3 of 13 on third down. The Vikings will go for it here on fourth down. 1 of 2 on fourth down today. TD Conway continues to struggle, only 9 completions on 28 attempts. Walkington, does he have enough? The Elmhurst sidelines say no. It depends on the spot. Let's take a second look and see what kind of spot he should have had, perhaps. They're going to measure it.
From the initial spot, it looked like he didn't quite get it. He looks like he's a yard short.
Seems like an odd time to measure given the spot on the field.
He needed to get to the 27.
The ball's clearly the 28-yard line. Yep, by a full yard.
We've said how there haven't been many turnovers in this game, but that's twice that Augustana has turned it over on fourth down. So those essentially can be, I suppose, just as much as an interception or a fumble is not being able to make it on fourth down. Either way, you're turning the ball over to the other team. And Blue Jays also blocked a field goal, which limited another scoring opportunity. And Vikings have struggled on third and fourth down thus far today.
21-0, Elmhurst with the lead in the fourth quarter. Claxon in motion. And it's Josh Williams ducking under and ticking some clock. Gaining 2 yards.
Elmhurst very comfortable with the lead. Always able to run the football. Always using short and intermediate routes in the middle of the field. Elmhurst loves to have the time of possession, loves to milk the clock. This is a great position for them heading into the fourth quarter.
Josh Williams only 68 yards. Joe Camilleri has been the story today. 219 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He looks to throw again. It is Williams in the flat and back to the line of scrimmage. Third down.
And I've been impressed with the accuracy of Joe Camilleri today. He's only made a couple of throws that weren't right on target. And especially down the field, it's been extremely impressive the way he's been able to spot the ball down the field.
I will say this, Elmhurst has not been able to put away North Park today. Big third down here. Still early in the fourth quarter. Camilleri mixing it up and whistles. No flags. Believe there was a timeout before the snap. Or was there?
No, it looks like delay of game.
Yeah. Never saw a flag come out. Just saw plenty of whistles coming.
Delay of game penalty against Elmhurst.
Camilleri scrambling to try to possibly change the play on an audible, but just couldn't quite change the play in time and get the snap off, so they'll back it up 5 and try it again.
Third down. And even longer for Elmhurst. A good crowd on hand as always for homecoming. Many fans just hanging out in the parking lot. Didn't even bother entering today. Camilleri drops, ducks, steps, rolls, throws to Williams for the first down. Joe Butt strips him up at the 41-yard line, but what a play by Joe Camilleri.
Beautiful job by Joe Camilleri, avoiding the pressure, stepping outside the pocket, and then stepping up and finding Josh Williams, who does a great job of he was originally, I believe, a blocker, and just kind of releasing out into the open field and giving Joe Camilleri an easy target to throw to.
So a first down for Elmhurst on third down, and if you're looking for a big difference in this game, it has been third down conversions. Camilleri keeps and flips to Claxton. Some space ahead across midfield. Out of bounds at the North Park 45-yard line. And another Elmhurst first down. It's the fourth catch for Claxton today.
Another simple play, just releasing the tight end out from the right side of the line. Roll Camilleri out to the far side, and it's an easy throw with his body towards Claxton, heading towards the sideline.
Here comes Claxton in motion. And it is Williams with a misdirection. Bottled up. A gain of a yard to the 44.
Like we've been saying, Elmhurst has really not been able to find the success running the football that they have in past games running up the middle. Most of their success has come via stretch plays and draw plays that have come to the outside.
Well, one of the big things, too, is the way Joe Camilleri has played from the quarterback slot. Josh Williams, pretty silent, and Elmhurst really hasn't needed him to take on a big role.
That's right. Joe Camilleri's done a great job. With that run limited, it puts a lot of weight on his shoulders in this offense. Be accurate and complete the passes, and he's stepped up to the billing each time.
25 touches for Williams. It's a play fake to him. Coming near side, Camilleri throws, and he skips it in to Caleb Miller.
Intended for Miller.
That's a very tough throw for Camilleri rolling out. He didn't really have time to step into his throw because he did have a defender coming in on him. I think if he has an extra second, he's able to set his feet and throw more of a dart to Caleb Miller instead of trying to throw across his body.
Camilleri receiving the direction from the sideline as Elmhurst huddles. With the play clock down to 10, both teams have all 3 timeouts available. It's a 3rd and 9. And Camilleri with time, now pump fakes, and he is sacked. Matt Liebforth knocks him down, and all kinds of penalty flags everywhere. They continue to fly, but a lot of extracurricular activity following the Liebforth sack. And the officials saying, we've got this. Back away. We could have offsetting fouls.
Yeah, the Elmhurst offense, the North Park defense staying out for now.
It was a sack initially, and it was after the leap fourth sack when all heck broke loose.
Personal foul. 47 after the play. 16 yards on the first down.
Ryan Boswell with a 15-yard personal foul after the play, negating the sack. Let's see if we can get a look. He had time, and the leap fourth stepped in and dropped Camilleri. And as Camilleri tried to sneak out, that was where the extra stuff began commencing.
It looks like Boswell grabbed Camilleri because Camilleri ran away after he had been sacked.
Well, if it's a personal foul, it should be an automatic first down.
I believe he said automatic first down, but now the referees are huddling again.
I think they're also debating where they want to spot the football, because if it's 15 yards from the sack versus 15 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Right. It should be from the sack. Is it after the play?
Referee Sean Quick still discussing with his crew. Calling over his head linesman, Pete Bobber.
This isn't the first time we've had the referees converge on a play and chat for a little while. There was the roughing/running into the kicker that happened earlier, where they instead decided to enforce the 5-yard running into the kicker, even though we believe that could have been a rule change over this offseason. Camilleri's coming in there too, and Camilleri is pointing towards first down, so they're going to walk it off now. It looked like they're walking it off from the 50.
Mike Conway wants an explanation on the North Park side. The debate continues.
For now, they've spotted the ball at the 36, which would mean the initial spot would have been.
But they also haven't moved the chains.
Right, the Elmhurst 49, but yeah, they haven't moved the chains because if you're going off the old chains and the old line to gain, it would be 4th and 1.
There's still some confusion on the field. And now the chains will move. There we go. After much debate, it's first down, Elmhurst at the North Park 36. 10.5 to play in this one. 21-0. Elmhurst can potentially seal it here. Most important thing the Blue Jays would like to do is just keep that clock moving. Camilleri drops, pumps, steps, throws, and incomplete.
Camilleri's pass incomplete.
Looked like he got on top of that throw, and it ended up heading towards the turf, the spiral.
Tyler Smith was the target.
Smith was open in between a couple of defenders. One of the few throws we've seen from Camilleri that's been off target. Interesting choice to pass on first down with the clock now at 10 minutes and 13 seconds and stopped.
Camilleri to the near side. Claxon reels it in. Pushed outside the numbers. Shy of the 30-yard line, but that clock continues to move.
Matiava there first for the Vikings.
It's another simple out for Claxon. They love to run these outs. That time Claxon's smart. Caught the ball around the numbers and stayed in bounds to keep the clock moving.
5 catches for Claxon. 3rd and 6. Camilleri sizes it up. Checks off with the play clock down to 3. And a little miscommunication on the option keep. It is Camilleri who dives towards the first down. He'll have it at the 25, but very nearly put that ball on the turf.
We've seen that in the past from Camilleri and Williams. Sometimes Camilleri just waits a little too long. Williams actually looked back at Camilleri after he pulled the ball out of his belly.
I think he was expecting to receive that handoff.
I think he was too. He thought he was going to get the ball, and then all of a sudden it was out of his hands. He probably thought it was on the ground. Instead, it's in Camilleri's hands, and Camilleri takes it for a first down.
It's a gain of 7 on the play. Inside of 9 minutes in this fourth quarter. And this time it is Williams. Just a yard. He has been bottled up consistently, averaging just over 3.5 yards per carry today.
CCIW update, third quarter, North Central 37.
Again, just the run up the middle has just not been there today for the Blue Jays, and you wonder how much of it has to do with left guard Adam Connors being out of the lineup. Blue Jays do love to set up Williams either behind Camilleri or to Camilleri's right and then run the draw towards the left side of that line.
The pistol look, as it's been throughout the day. Camilleri keeps and flips to Claxon. Inside the 20, down to the 15 and a first down.
Boy, I don't know how Camilleri got out of that because it looked like he had 2 or 3 guys, North Park players, barreling down on him. He's got 2 of them. And then a third one comes in. Camilleri does take the hit, but somehow flips the ball out to Claxon for another first down.
Hunter Corrigan amongst those with the stop for North Park. It is 1st and 10 from the 15.
Offensive coordinator Kyle Derrickson is laughing a little bit. I think after the Camilleri getting outside and being able to throw that, he couldn't believe he got it off.
Option left. Camilleri with real estate. Camilleri on his feet, diving shy of the end zone to the 1-yard line.
Ray with the tackle inside the 5.
We have 7:25 to play in the quarter.
They're going. They're hurrying up.
And a whistle as a timeout called. Timeout North Park trying to recover before the quick snap. With 7:21 to go in the game, it is 21-0 Elmhurst with the lead.
And there's that wrinkle with Joe Camilleri in the rushing offense. When you run with Josh Williams so many times, they've run over 25 times with Josh Williams today. One of these times, Camilleri is going to have an open space to run, and that time, Camilleri using his feet and a quick cut to the right to gain all the way down to the 1, and then something we've seen from the Blue Jays in the past, trying to hurry up on the next play and try to get a snap off before the North Park defense is ready and just run the sneak. The coaching staff for the Vikings made sure to call the timeout before Camilleri could plow into the end zone.
Set up inside the 1. Elmhurst trying to seal a 3rd consecutive CCIW victory. It'll be a 3-0 start for the Blue Jays after a tough non-conference slate. Illinois Wesleyan on the road next Saturday. It is Williams to the outside. Williams into the end zone. 2nd touchdown today. With 7:14 to play, it's 27-0 Elmhurst. However, a flag comes in, and it was in the area where Williams was able to break free.
10 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Reaching first down.
And a hold negates the touchdown.
I think they're going to get Evan Lesky, number 10, the tight end, coming off the field with the hold. It was a great job by Williams. He was stuffed initially and then running around a pile and able to make his way towards the end zone. And
he's on the outside.
There he's right. He's on 47 Boswell, and that's the hold. and he kind of grabbed around the shoulder area and then brought him down. So that's where they found the hold, and now a little tougher red zone opportunity for the Blue Jays, 1st and goal from the 11.
And Camilleri hangs on to this one.
Camilleri, the ball carrier.
Still on his feet. He breaks his way into the end zone. Thought for sure he was down at about the 3-yard line, but he just kept going and registers his 7th rushing touchdown of the year.
7th rushing touchdown, as you said, for Camilleri. And again, it's just, option to Williams. They're going to bring 2 or 3 guys towards him, and then Camilleri's just going to keep moving and moving and moving and plows his way into the end zone over by the students beyond the east end zone.
It's a good job of the officials letting that play finish as well instead of blowing it dead, because Camilleri was bottled up at about the 3, but his momentum kept him moving forward. The extra point is good. 28-0 Elmhurst with the advantage. Camilleri now with 45 yards on the ground. A 14-play drive for Elmhurst, spanning 72 yards. And more importantly, using 7 minutes and 49 seconds.
And that's Elmhurst's favorite kind of drive right there, regardless of what the score is. They love to chew up the clock, keep running straight down the middle, short passes, and then opening up all the rushing plays to Josh Williams, open up the chance for Joe Camilleri to be effective in the running game. And 7 rushing touchdowns to lead the team it does have Joe Camilleri. It's just very impressive, the Elmhurst coaching staff using that wrinkle later in the game and really, in essence, sealing this game. As you mentioned before, Tim, it didn't seem like the Blue Jays were putting away the Vikings. It always seemed like the Vikings were still in this game, but now the 28-0 with 7 minutes to go. That 7-minute drive starting at the beginning of the quarter and essentially just taking away a half of the quarter and half of the last period of the game really puts away the Vikings in this game.
Well, I'll say this. It hasn't been a dominating performance by Elmhurst from any stretch of the imagination, but it has been a very efficient performance for Elmhurst. Brett Bayer on the kickoff to the 5-yard line. Anthony Burton on the return. Ball comes free. Now he's just tripped up at the 25-yard line. Looked like it snuck out of there momentarily, but Burton on the return for North Park.
It's a nice play by Parode Charles on the coverage unit.
1st and 10 from the 25. So you look at the numbers and you won't necessarily think dominating, but like I said, it was an efficient performance for Elmhurst today because they did such a good job of keeping the North Park offense on the sideline. Picking up 3, 4, 5 yards here and there, moving the chains, converting on 3rd down. Conway dumps it off to Burton. And Burton with a 1st down. Across the 40 out to the 43.
Also, if you look at the red zone statistics, those are a big teller in this game. North Park 0 for 3 in the red zone. Elmhurst scoring on all 4 of their red zone trips. Make that all 3.
Yeah, that other touchdown coming on a 41-yard pass. It's a 4th catch for Burton today. Conway, deep, overthrows his target, and actually it hung up there long enough for the speed of Devin Childress to come in, but Marvin Carr with position, able to break it up.
Marvin Carr doing a great job of getting the right position on this play because he is a huge height mismatch. We've been talking about that today. 6'4" Childress against 5'5" Carr, but Carr gets the inside position and is able to break up the pass even though it was a high one to Childress.
2nd and 10 with 6:29 left in the game. North Park trying to build some momentum here in this 4th quarter. Conway, complete, and a huge hit from Carr. Ringing the bell of Anthony Burton. Up next for North Park, a date with Milliken at home next Saturday. Vikings on the verge of falling to 0-6.
Boy, that was one heck of a hit by Marvin Carr. He's done everything so well since muffing the punt earlier. He's done a really good job of stepping up, getting the interception, breaking up that long pass just a moment ago, and then exciting the sideline with that huge hit.
3rd and 5. Conway over the middle, incomplete, right between two receivers. We had both Childress and Cash in the vicinity.
Interesting to check on this replay. I think Eddie Byer might have gotten a hand on Conway's arm. That ball came out kind of funny. Eddie Byer trying to get that ball loose, putting an arm towards the right arm of Conway.
Well, down in front of us, Logan Stells-Reed taking some snaps.
Yeah, Stells-Reed started a couple games for the Blue Jays last year. He hasn't been on the depth chart yet this season, but first time he's suiting up today.
4th and 5, incomplete. North Park for the 3rd time today turns the ball over on downs. Out of the reach of Cash. And with 5:35 left in the contest, Elmhurst will try and run out the clock. So we have a change at quarterback. It's Logan Stells-Reed, the junior, taking over for Joe Camilleri today. 17 of 24, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh yeah, he had 45 on the ground and a score as well. All kinds of new bodies out for the Blue Jays. This is Tyler Smith, the ball carrier, picking up 3.
Smith, the ball carrier.
Now, you can't say enough about the performance of Joe Camilleri today. As you mentioned the stats, and just constantly play after play, being extremely accurate from the pocket, moving outside the pocket when he needs to, and then really setting his feet, even if he's on the move, making sure to set his feet and throw bullets towards his receivers. He did a really a wonderful job, decision-making, accuracy, everything today. He was certainly the story for the Blue Jays.
Clock running inside of 5 minutes. Stells-Reed with a 4-wide look. Hands it off. Smith with a huge hole. Smith down the far side, inside the 30. Pick it up 17 yards and a first down. Longest run of the season for Tyler Smith.
On that one, you see Smith's explosive ability right there. He's going east-west, and then as soon as he hits north-south, he is gone, and he's got some amazing speed and some amazing acceleration. Certainly an important part of this offense.
Smith had only 15 yards on the season entering action today. He picked up 15 there and a first down.
An 84-yard return last week against Carthage, and coming back from injury. He missed a few games with an injury. I believe he was injured in the game against Olivet.
172 North Addison Avenue in Elmhurst.
28-0 Elmhurst on top. Stells-Reed calling it out, dropping, looking, throwing, and it is reeled in. It's Daniel Bergalt spinning away from tacklers inside the 20.
Go with the catch from Stells-Reed.
Accurate throw and a good job by the receiver of making a couple guys miss, and a nice block by Evan Lesky up the field to spring Bergalt for a couple more.
1st and 10 Elmhurst with 3:55 left. And Smith dragged down inside the 15.
Kyle Liebforth with the tackle.
Kyle Liebforth bringing him to the turf. (28-0) Elmhurst with the lead. 2 first-quarter touchdowns handed the Blue Jays a 14-0 lead. And a touchdown in the third and in the fourth as well. Has put this one away with 3:05 left. Dominant time of possession for Elmhurst today. Smith straight ahead. Smith inside the 5. Joe Butts drags him down.
Smith showing his explosiveness. Coming off right tackle and then just hitting the hole quickly. Getting upfield in a hurry. Another first down and a first and goal for the Blue Jays.
2:33 to play. The play clock ticking away. Elmhurst huddling in, just letting it run. On the keep, Stelsrady to the 1.
The ball carrier. Washington there first for the Vikings.
The defense sucking towards Tyler Smith.
Along with Regal.
Stelsrady keeps it. Taking it down to the 1. Couldn't quite get it in. We'll see. Elmhurst continues to just try to pound it straight ahead with their big offensive line.
North Park does have a pair of timeouts remaining. Really could almost run victory formation. I don't know that North Park would stop the clock here. 2nd and goal from the 2. Play clock down to 5. And it's Smith. Hit for a loss as a flag flies.
Not only flag on the play, Smith was the ball carrier.
Nothing going for Smith down the left side. We'll see what the flag is.
Sean Maiava trying to lay the smack down. A hold against Elmhurst.
10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Move Elmhurst back to the 12.
Snap for Elmhurst will come inside of a minute with a 28-0 lead on the board. This is Connor Brewer. Actually, no, Stelsrady decides to keep it himself.
Washington there for the Vikings.
And he will pick up a couple. And we could be staring at our final play of the game.
Fooled me too. I was looking at Brewer, but it was Stelsrady on the carry.
Was following it initially as well.
We were all looking at Brewer, and the North Park defense is looking at Stelsrady and be able to stop him inside 10.
7 different individuals with a catch today for Elmhurst. The Blue Jays with 274 yards passing.
Camilleri is giving high fives all the way down the sideline. He had himself one heck of a game. A career day for Joe Camilleri.
Time for a knee.
Stelsrady takes the knee.
Let it ring. Elmhurst wins on homecoming. Final score, 28-0. The Blue Jays are 3-0 in the CCIW. And they'll head over and chime the victory bell today.
Homecoming final score, Elmhurst 28, North Park 0.
For as much talk as we've given Joe Camilleri and as much credit and where credit is due for Joe Camilleri, you also got to give a ton of credit to this Blue Jay defense. And they held this North Park offense in check the whole game. It was an extremely impressive performance by them, and one player in particular I could think about is Marvin Carr, but making the big interception play and then up 21 later in the fourth quarter, making that nice play to break up the pass to Childress. If that pass is completed, who knows if that goes for a touchdown, then all of a sudden it's 21-7 and it's a little closer game. But Then obviously he makes the big hit the play after that, but also the defensive line putting a lot of pressure on TD Conway. Thought it was a very impressive performance by the defense and an impressive performance by Joe Camilleri, and a good team win for the Blue Jays.
28-0 on the board. Elmhurst, a homecoming win and a shutout at that of North Park. And North Park really did not get rolling offensively at all today. 166 yards, just over 3 yards per play. And that, of course, had a lot to do with TD Conway, just 11 of 33 for only 104 yards through the air for North Park. Camilleri finishes with 262 yards passing, in addition to 45 yards rushing. Josh Williams, 22 carries, 72 yards, and a score as well. Elmhurst celebrates a homecoming win on this Saturday afternoon. The Blue Jays are back at it again next week. A big one on the road at Illinois Wesleyan, looking to improve to 4-0 in the CCIW. That's all from Langhorse Field here on Blue Jay TV today. For Luke Tanaka and our entire Blue Jay TV crew, I'm Tim Calderwood. Thanks for watching. Enjoy homecoming.